One thing this city's taught me, you can put a price on anything.
What's up, Gamerland? It's Armani over at Down Forward Punch. Today we have a video review for you on the newly released Thief from Square Enix and Eidos-Montreal. If you don't know, this is the fourth installment of the series by the same name, and the first to appear in a decade. But how good is it? Let's take a look. In Thief, you take the control of Garrett, a master thief on a journey for answers about the disappearance of his apprentice. You're dealt a series of missions that will take you to various places of the map that can be entered in a number of ways. Along the way, you unravel some of the mystery of not only what happened to your former protege, but yourself. You'll notice while you play Thief that this game is inconsistent, starting with the graphics. Character models are a crapshoot. At times, the people in the game look really good and adequate for a next-generation title. At other points, people, and even Garrett himself, looks less than impressive. Thankfully, the lighting effects make up where other parts of the visuals lack. They work well creating shadows and forming the proper mood for the game. Without them, the entire stealth aspect of the game could have easily been a bust. There are two things in this game that always look great. The city is one of them, providing interesting architecture and eye-catching aesthetics. But nothing is as visually impressive as Garrett's hands. Considering how often you see them, this is probably the best place for the developers to have spent their time. Unlike other games, you actually see Garrett pick up and take collectibles in the game, giving a greater sense of satisfaction to lifting even the most trivial of items. What's really impressive is how expressive his hands are. I never got tired of watching the flow of his movements as his fingers graze the spines of a book along the bookcase, or travel along the edges of a picture looking for a secret. His hands do a great job illustrating of how Garrett is not only a master of his craft, but that he has passion for his work. In between Garrett's searching for answers, he does plenty of creeping around a town known by nothing other than the city, breaking into houses and stealing anything he can find. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Mirror? Yep. Cup? Sure. An old syringe? Why not? But as fun as petty thievery is, this is another example of the game's inconsistency and how it gets the best of it. The game itself seems stuck between an open world and a linear path game, where player missions will take you to different parts of the city, but instead of being a true open world experience like GTA 5 or Dead Rising 3, it often has you sitting at long load screens waiting to access the next area. Controls also seem arbitrary at times, occasionally not letting you climb a box or a ledge that you usually have no problem with. The game does make use of an interesting swooping motion that helps to pick up the pace of your movements without sacrificing the stealth element. While this helps to engage players who may not have the patience for the most hardcore of stealth games, this also gets buggy, as you find yourself sometimes stuck swooping if you so much as touch the control stick with anything more than a hair. This gets really frustrating at times, especially towards the end of the game where precision and timing matters most. But despite its faults, Thief does a nice job with the actual stealth mechanics. It's impressive to see how many options Garrett usually has to get around and to break into a building. For example, you can wait patiently for the right time to move, you can scale drain pipes and stick to rooftops, eventually making your way inside a window, or you can cause a distraction to lure guards away and head straight for the door. These are only a few examples. The gameplay is also complemented nicely by the soundtrack that effectively builds tension and keeps your nerves on edge. It does a good job of adding drama at all the right moments, and if it weren't for the fact that you get a constant repetition of lines from characters that are nowhere around you, I'd say the audio in the game was fantastic.
What's the third offense, kid?
The noobs.
I thought third offense was lockup.
Lockup? You want to fill our cells with gloomers? Great idea, Sloop for brains.
The story seems to progress slowly for most of the game, only pushing forward at the end of the chapter or in text form on the loading screens. The exception to this is during an asylum chapter in the middle of the game where Thief turns into a survival horror genre, and you seem to get a lot of story progression all at once. Perhaps pacing would be better if you complete a lot of side missions, but in my experience, the first opportunity I had to do one didn't occur until Chapter 4, and I really never came across a side quest that seemed compelling enough for me to pursue over the main objective. What I applaud Thief's story on is how it puts some interesting spins on a game that could have easily been a simple heist game. Thief's plot will take you through some twists, whether it be murder, mystery, or even a little bit of the paranormal.
What's the matter, Garrett?
Overall, Thief's flaws are plentiful but mostly minor. The game's mechanics for swooping and snooping around are intriguing and provide plenty of options to get things done and keep things fresh. The story is slow, but has enough interesting pieces to keep you playing.
If you're going to urinate in the street like a watchman,
So what's my final
at least do
verdict?
it out of the light.
Should you rent, buy, or ignore this game altogether? My final verdict for the game is rent. There are plenty of reasons to play this game, but not enough to own it unless you really love stealth games or are a huge fan of the series. Well, that's all for you today. Stay tuned for more video reviews coming from Down Forward Punch, and check out the website at www.down-forward-punch.com.
I don't know what you expect to find in
This
that.
is Armani, signing off.
Don't become a ghost yourself.
I've been a ghost all my life.